I'm fully aware of that. The way we do things is, for example, if I take the example of the rooftop garden as it is now isn't allowed. But sometimes you sort of have to break the rules or break the standards to make things happen. And so we know, as much as we try to inspire, we are also comfortable having hard conversations sometimes with the government and to break the rules and change the things. So that's always something I encourage. Yeah. And I think, judging on, I think it was Kate closing, I really felt inspired by what she shared at the conference, where there was a lot of advocacy, I think, in her speech, and it seems to be a key part of what would help here. I think those are my not an expert of Australia at all, but those are my 2 cents. Maybe I'd like to talk about the engagement, the financial engagement. One thing that I've been asked to share a little bit here is the fact that we work on a sliding scale on all the different aspects of our work. So do you have a sliding scale is a system that allows you to sort of pay what you can. So it's people that can afford, they will pay more for the same quality of goods or same quality of service that people that cannot afford will pay for. So that applies to Meals on Wheels. We have a sliding scale for Meals on Wheels. That applies to our general store. That applies to our CSA baskets. So CSA baskets are extremely easy to understand. So the costs are fixed. We ask some of our CSA partners to pay a little bit more, and that allows for people to pay a little bit less by transferring this to that. Very simple. And we do that in all different aspects of our work. The example I think I gave during the conference is the Gala. Gala is a fundraising event we do every year, $40,000 of revenues. In the past, we used to do a sliding scale that was encouraging people to pay between, I think it was like 50, 75, 100. So you pay what you can, one of those three things. And one year we were like, let's get rid of that. You actually pay exactly what you can. If you pay $5, you pay $5. And on average, we got more money than we used to have. So that model also speaks to the engagement of people that have money. People that have money, they want to change their food systems. People that have money, they want to see people well fed. They want to see like Meals on Wheels clients, like the ones I saw today. They want to see them like happy and well fed. But they don't always have the way to engage with the organization. So sliding scales, like they come and buy a jar of blueberry jam. They will pay, or honey, great example. They're ready to pay a little bit more. And it's also, from my experience, a great opportunity for them to develop their skills in terms of social services and food security. My experience is as soon as someone becomes a donor somewhere, they start learning more about the organization. So I don't know if you're donors of somewhere. So for example, I'm a monthly donor of 3-4 organizations. I read so much. Like when they send me the annual report, like I'm going to look at all the details. Because I'm financially engaged, I'm developing my own skills in the field they work on. And that's the experience I've seen being in charge of the fundraising development for Santropol Roulant. Why does it matter? Well, it does matter because the people that have money, they're going to change the food systems more than people that have no money. They have more responsibility of changing the world than people that have no money. They have all the power and they have all the resources to be able to change the world. And how or why would they change the world if they don't have the skills? How would they change the world if they have no idea what food security means? How would they change the world if they have no idea what it means to live alone, with a loss of autonomy, with no access to food, with a disease, not knowing your neighbors? So we need to open a window and we need to engage them into those conversations. And it won't happen if organization like mine or doesn't do the work of like engaging them. And that's where we do sliding scale, because it's very dynamic and efficient way of engaging them. One of the things also that speaks to the engagement is how people are members of Santropol Roulant. So a member is someone that can vote at the AGM. And what do you vote for? You vote for bylaw changes, probably like here. You vote for the board of directors. I don't think that's the case here. I don't think you can vote. You can?
Some do get voted on.
Some can? Okay.
And some aren't, yeah.
And you can ask questions and things like that. Our AGM are pretty successful at the Roulant. Who are members of Santropol Roulant? Once you've received one meal during the last 12 months, you become a member. So Meals on Wheels clients are members. Once you've done 1 hour of volunteer work, you become a member. So you can vote at the election. Once you've donated $1, you become a member. And once you've worked as a staff for 1 hour, you also become a member. So all those people are members of the organization. It means that if you're a Meals on Wheels client, you're going to be able to elect the people, the board of directors, that are probably going to influence somehow the success of the organization. We do accommodate vote from distance, obviously for people living with a loss of autonomy, mobility issues, and things like that. And that, again, why do we do that? It's very, very, as you might see, it's very, very democratic. We do that because we believe that that's how people are going to learn about food security and change the systems. And that's how they're going to be engaged in the food movement. And that they're going to be like, yes, there's power in food, there's power in bringing people together. You might notice that we do use trust a lot. It's really very much of a trust-based relationship that we have with I trust, actually, the deadline for the candidates for the board are tomorrow for us. And there's a bit of anxiety here of like, who is going to apply and how good are going to be the candidates. But in my experience, like there's so much wisdom in the community. And there's so much wisdom in the collectivity that it's going to be all right. I trust Barry in changing the slides in the presentation, and that pays back to me because I'm fully focused. I'm with you. I sort of don't care of what happens here, and I see a smile on his face. It seems to be going pretty well. For example,
it must be Saturday.
Yeah, it is Saturday. Yeah, you're following. I appreciate that. The trust. Yes, we have in the back shop. They manage their own budget of $30,000, so they play with $30,000 of money. We trust that. In our general store, it's the cash is a self-service. So we have a box of cash where there's probably $300, and you go to the general store, you pay, and you take back your cash back. So we build that relation of trust between everyone all the time. Thieves happen, it does happen, but do we want to sacrifice trust building relationship at the costs of and then lose that crazy relationship we have with 200 volunteers, 500 donors, and all those Meals on Wheels, 230 Meals on Wheels clients? That's so much more valuable than having like surveillance cameras or things like that. So I thought that
Okay, there you go.
we don't do background police check.
One person doing 1 hour.
Yeah, they don't do police check.
Yeah, I'm going to take myself as an example. So when I arrived in Canada 15 years ago, I went to the General Center for Volunteership, being like, I'm here, I want to volunteer in my new country. And they were like, let's do a background check. And I was like, great. And they were like, where did you live for more than 6 months? And I had the privilege to have lived in 3-4 countries for more than 6 months. And they were like, okay, it's going to take six months for us to check the background everywhere. Or you need to provide, for example, I lived in Spain. Going in Spain they only provide background check in person. So I would have to travel back to Spain to get this and come back here. I was like, there was no way I would do that. So for 3-4 years, I stopped volunteering. I didn't do any volunteering in Canada because of those background checks. So we don't do that at the Roulant, but we ask people to self-identify. So if ever you have, you have a background situation where you might have done something with a legal situation, please let us know. And I think we do that I'm happy to share the reason why we do that. I share my example of immigration. In Canada, immigration, there's 2 levels you need to go through. You need to go to immigration at the federal level, and then you need to go through an immigration process at the provincial level. And once you've done that, you're being taken care of, which means the states, the public services, they take care of immigration. Who takes care of integration or inclusion of newcomers? Well, really nobody, other than maybe the community organizations like you all, like all the Meals on Wheels. It's crazy how much charities, how much the community organizations, they do the work of doing the social inclusion of the newcomers in the country. They learn through volunteer work, they learn the language, and then they make friends, and then they develop their sense of belonging to the country through volunteering. And in terms of justice, I'm going to take the example of justice. Same story. So currently, if ever you're going through, something hard, you're being judged because you've been through something difficult, because you can be in both situations actually. You've made something wrong, or you've been in a situation where something wrong has happened to you. Who takes care of that? Same thing. Like the state's public authorities, they take care of judging all those peoples. But who takes care of the restorative justice? Like, who takes care of during those 1 month where the people are going to be on hold because, like, oh, you've been like someone did something wrong to you. The case is going to be judged. Like it's going to take us 12, 15 months, but don't worry, it's going to be judged. Who does the restorative job of making sure the person feels better? Who makes the restorative job of making sure that person is reintegrated into society when they're out of jail and things like that? Well, actually, the states in Canada, the public government, they don't really care of that. So this is where I think the charities and the community. My dream would be again that charities don't have to do that, and I'm a strong believer in that the public services and the state should take care of that. Well, they're not going to do that. It's not going to happen. So we play a great role in doing like social inclusion of immigrants, and I think it's a very similar role into restorative justice for people that have been through something extremely tough in their life. Young volunteers, I think I've touched on that. Oh, menu design, that's going to be next, I think. People as gifts, I've touched on that. The meals, quality of the meals. So let's go into a green section of that presentation, the green segment. So the meals are there's the initial step, I think is very similar to one that already exists within all the branches of Meals on Wheels Australia, is that every year we survey the Meals on Wheels clients. We ask for feedback on the recipes and things like that. In parallel, when we do that, we have a partnership with one of the university at Montreal, McGill, where we always improve and survey the nutrition of the meals based to the most recent standards. So those two things happen towards the third trimester of the year, towards the fourth trimester of the year. Once we have that, this information informs the work of the cooks. They get together with the farmers and they do a crop planning for the coming 12 months. The crop planning includes all the ingredients that are, except proteins, that are going to be used for the Meals on Wheels for the coming 12 months. The reason why we do that is because, well, you have no other choice than doing the crop planning in the winter, because you're going to be planning for a full year and you need to start ordering the seeds and then doing the seedlings at the beginning of the year in the greenhouses, and then they're going to feed the whole year. So we actually have no other choice than doing it once a year. But also because the way we work for the meals is that we share a calendar, a beautiful calendar, I should have brought some here, that provides all the clients with the recipes of the year. So we have about 35 recipes on rotation, and each of the recipes assigned to a day, and people, they can, a little bit like they do here, they can call being like, oh, today is a shrimp stir fry, like shrimp stir fry, bestseller for us. People love it. So people might be like, oh, tomorrow is the